Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another one of those videos where I talk about updates on the Steam version of Dwarf Fortress coming from Toady1 and Kid Fox. Now, this one is a day late, and I apologize. There's a reason for that, and we're going to dive right in. But before we do that, I will just simply say that this one's covering taverns, temples, and hospitals. Shall we dive in? So something that maybe if you don't play Dwarf Fortress, you may not know, in Dwarf Fortress, you can make taverns. Now, taverns have little randomly generated names, or you can assign more specific names to them, and there is a very specific little piece of UI attached to them. Now, this little piece of UI allows you to set how many instruments are in there, how many tavern keepers you have in there, and how many musical instruments get stored in there, and of course how many goblets get stored in there or mugs get stored in there for your alcohols, which is very important for dwarven healthcare and well-being, especially the young ones. They need their booze, otherwise they will, of course, not be very happy. Now, this piece of UI has a few very specific pieces of information that are very important. The first one is those three buttons, the one that has a little horsey, the one in the middle that has the temple, and then I think that's a temple or a fortress or a thingy, and then there's the one with the dwarf head. Now, this allows you to let in visitors or not. I'm assuming that the horse, because it's set to it right now, is all visitors welcome. So anybody from outdoors and the far great out and unknown can come and visit, bringing any disease, thieves, or criminals that might be passing through. As well as you can see here that we have options for goblets as well as stored instruments with the plus minus, and I'm not sure what the pound sign is there for, but you know. And then the actual size of the tavern. If it's too small, the dwarves will not be able to dance, and that's a very, very, very big problem. Of course, you can also attach rooms. These are bedrooms to the tavern so that you can have guests stay in said rooms, which is quite a nice feature and very satisfying to watch happen. Now, the next screen we have is the UI for the temples. Now, once again, same thing. We have options to let citizens and long-term residents only in, everybody, as well as restricted even more so. Now, I think I do really like the little buttons. I'm not totally sold on those icons just because they're reused icons from elsewhere in the game. Now, this may be a game limitation, but I kind of wish that we just had separate buttons. You know what I'm saying? I just wish that they had a different icon instead of the little horsey, the little fortress, and the little dwarf head and the hammer. I kind of wish we had a little bit more variety there. But this is a cathedral, a granite cathedral temple called the Creed of Walls, which is a very, very good name. Probably dedicated to a religion called the Creed of Walls, I would assume. There is 6 worshippers to this religion. The temple value is 2,000, and it will level up at 10,000. Now, of course, you can level up the temple value by placing items in the zone, and once there are 10 worshippers of this religion, it looks like there's only 6 right now, then you will need a priest. Now, this is actually a relatively recent addition to the game, so I'm very curious to see if we get any of the villains additions to this stuff, but supposedly dwarves are supposed to go around and give sermons in other forts. They don't actually do that yet, and I've also read something about how Tarn wants the temples to have a little bit more effect, but currently they're just kind of a thing that sometimes you have and sometimes you don't have, and they don't work super well. So one of the reasons I'm excited for the Steam version to be done is so that we can actually play with the new updates, if you know what I'm saying, that are coming after the Steam version, because he's been working on UI for so long. I can't wait for him to start adding fun stuff to the game again. Once again, of course, you can add instruments, and you can have a dance floor area in the temple. It's very rare to actually see dwarves dancing in the temples from my experience, but when it does, it's quite eventful. And of course, the last screenshot we have here is for hospitals. Now, this is really interesting to me, because they've made a addition to the hospitals. You can now do multi-layered hospitals. So instead of just simply having a plain old one-room hospital like we did previously with tables for surgeries, now you can have multi-level hospitals. They talk about this in the update newsletter, but I'm not entirely sure how that's supposed to work. Maybe you just make multiple zones and then you can tie them together somehow. Regardless, I think that'll be a really interesting mechanic once we see it. Now, of course, you still have the options to restrict visitors from being able to enter. That being said, even if they are wounded, I'm not sure that dwarves will actually tend to their injuries. In fact, I'm pretty sure that they don't. Of course, you have to put beds into your hospital for beds reasons, tables for surgery and other things, and traction benches, of course, to reset bones. And then you need chests to store all of your thread, cloth, splints, crutches, powder for casts, buckets, and of course, the all-important, almighty soap. Soap is very important, especially all of the different varieties of soap that you can make. You know, if it has animal fat on it, you can make soap from it. You know, you could have cow soap, you could have pig soap, you could have, I don't know, you could have owl soap, you could have turkey soap. It's quite a wide variety of soap crafting opportunities for a good sprouting crafts dwarf, and a lot of fun. I very much like hospitals, actually. It's one of my favorite zones in the game. And, of course, then you can attach, it'll give you a list of your specific doctors, which is new to this version, and it looks like you can assign more specific doctors, which is also super interesting. Very excited to see how this is actually going to work, because that is new. Currently, you'll just assign doctors, or make doctors, and they will just kind of hang around that zone generally. I don't think you can actually directly assign doctors to hospital zones, and if that is a thing, then my mind just exploded. There is one more screenshot I'd like to talk about today, but keep in mind that this is not accurate. This is just kind of a PSA that I would like to throw out to people. Every now and again, Steam will show a release date on the Steam version. Now, this is true and it's not true. So Steam requires a set release date. However, it lets you hide it in the back end. So Kitfox does this with all of their games, and I've seen more and more developers doing this, saying coming soon or whatnot. Dwarf Fortress likes to say the, now maybe almost hilarious time is subjective. But every now and again, they do actually have to update the background release date. Now, there is a bug or some sort of transition time where sometimes Steam will show the incorrect release date and someone managed to screen cap it. This has happened once before, as far as I remember, maybe even twice now. And it's literally just a Steam backend error, and it's not an actual release date. I'm just showing this here just to kind of show that, Steam does this sometimes. It's not an actual release date, but, it gives you kind of an idea maybe when they're estimating. It's kind of cool. Anyway, I just want to say thank you very much, everybody, for watching these videos. Sorry it's a day late. The community manager was on vacation yesterday, and so she wasn't able to post the update until today. All that being said, thank you very much for supporting these videos. Thanks for hanging out, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.